Olivia.
Hi! There goes the dog.
There's your dog. Hi, here I am. And how do we know how many, if a lot of people, we can see who's here. And
So we have 3 people so
okay.
far.
All right, let's see what time it is. It's just a few minutes after 1. I want to welcome everybody to our second webinar.
Somebody's on the beach.
Last week we did a webinar about love, and this week the webinar's on power. And I'm doing these webinars. Last week was in honor of my husband's birthday. This week, of course, is in honor of Aretha Franklin and the power that she had to communicate and to penetrate into our hearts, into ourselves. And I think a really good example of the power of your word and your voice. And you'll see that we'll talk about that a little bit. So I want to welcome you. My name's Huddy. I'm coming from New York City, and the very last days of summer here in the city. And during this webinar, what I'd like to do is I'll share a few of the teachings that I've learned about power and this idea of power. And we'll talk. I'd really love to hear from you, which is pretty much a new thing. We're using the Zoom platform. If you're here, you know that. And we're using that platform, and we'll be doing our best to take questions from you. So once I talk a little bit, I'd love to hear from you. We'll do a few exercises. I'll ask you a few questions, and then we'll meditate together. And so it's a really nice hour and a half together. So welcome. Let's see. I wanted to start with that quote that I put on the invitation. Was a quote from my teacher, Yogi Bhajan, who I felt had so much power. When you were in his presence, you really felt that power. Now, there's something about power that's important. There's hard power and soft power. Hard power is when you can just make a decision and conquer something or conquer someone. It's like the conquer or be conquered attitude, which Yogi Bhajan taught was in the Piscean age, which was kind of an old way and a not very smart or spiritual or enlightened way of looking at power. And also the Tao. When you look at the Tao and you look at the Aquarian age, they're really talking about the same thing, that power is this soft power. And what that means, both like in politics and in personal, is that we have such an alignment with ourselves that the people around us feel us, and they feel where they're coming from. And even if there's a disagreement, there's not a fear, because you're aligned. You don't have a million other hidden agendas running in the background, which in this Aquarian age people can hear, even though you're not speaking them. They can sense it in their sensory self. And that takes away your ability to be with that person. That person then has some suspicions. They're wondering. I often use the example like when somebody comes and they go, I love you. I told you I love you. Didn't you realize that, you know, I said I loved you yesterday. I said I loved you last week. I don't have any idea why you don't understand that I love you. So that's a lot different than I love you. So you're speaking loudly, and people are perceiving, because their nervous systems are very sensitive now, are perceiving all these different layers. And that soft power is being aligned. And I'll talk about how we get to that, alignment. The quote by Yogi Bhajan is this: you're very powerful provided you know how powerful you are. And a lot of spiritual teachers and teachings speak in paradoxes. And that's what this is. You can only feel that internal power if you're willing to already know that you can feel it. So that's an interesting thing. How do we get to the point that we actually feel in our body that we can affect our lives, that we can have an effect on our minds, that we can have an effect upon our bodies? Now, that doesn't mean we're going to tell the universe what to do. The universe has a profound indifference to many things. You look up and it's pouring and say, I don't want rain, and see if it stops pouring just when you say that. The universe is a wonderful teacher, so is Mother Nature. It's here to support us if we look at it as a teacher. Otherwise, it can be a continual cathartic irritation, which it is kind of anyway. We get our cathartic and catharsis learning from the irritation of the universe. So the universe won't get very upset, really, if you affect your body, if you get a little stronger, if you get a little calmer, if you get a little happier, despite how the universe is flowing. And that's about that quote, that if you know that even though we're all connected and we may not have this huge effect on what we want everybody to be or do, that we have the power to uplift ourselves and to have an effect in the moment on what's going on, whether or not the universe perceives that effect. So that's how I see that quote. I think it's amazing. And I wanted to share 4 ways that we can look at training ourselves, and 4 little reminders, little sticky reminders on how to remember how we can embody power. 1, we call it bana. What this means, how you show up. It's your purity. It's how willing you are to be yourself with others. And this purity is like gold. If you can see yourself as a beautiful jewel, if you can see yourself as pure gold, and that value that you hold, that purity, that you're willing to show up with that. It could be how you dress. It's definitely how you speak. It's whether you're on time or not. My teacher used to say that there was a story that his teacher once got him out of the field, and he was working in the field, and he was just wearing like the loincloth, he called it the underwear, and he had the big metal thing where he was cutting the things, and very sweaty, in the fields. And his teacher, Yogi Bhajan he had a lot of energy and he had a lot of status, and his teacher said, just as you are dressed now, I want you to walk through the town. And he walked through the town, and he really felt what it felt like to be embarrassed. And that's what his teacher says. What does it feel like to be embarrassed? You should understand how people feel and how you feel when you're embarrassed. And tomorrow, show up absolutely perfectly as a teacher. And so he worked for a few hours to show up that way. He came in, teacher said, no, not good enough. He couldn't believe it. He said, oh my God, I spent several hours, everything. But he said that to himself. A few days later, teacher says, in a very short time, he says, come perfectly. And even though short time, Yogi Bhajan took a longer time to get ready. And it was absolutely perfect. And the teacher looked at him and said, here is the key. Show up. Take your time with your presence. And don't rush. So this idea of bana is this idea of being on time or ahead of the time, not being behind the time, under the energy. Of showing up with your integrity. You are on the outside who you are on the inside. That actually is a very integral teaching for men, that the most powerful thing a man can do is have this arc line developed. And this arc line is how the man shows up on the outside. The second one is how we see our words, the power of our word. The power of our word comes hand in hand with something that I'm working with a lot in these courses, which is called deep listening. So in addition to understanding, being present to the power of your word and how important it is for you to hear your speaking, for you to actually be heard, and how important it is for you to listen as well. This listening is as important as the power of your words. The space between the notes, you think of Miles Davis, there used to be a lot of notes. Miles Davis just added space. So much space that people started listening and feeling something new. So especially for women, because we have a deep sensitivity and a lot to share, is to recognize the power of our words and the power of our listening. And the third thing is love. This idea that love is so important in life. We're all looking for this feeling of love. And that the most power we have is the power we have to uplift each other. To show up, to realize the power of our listening, our presence, our words, and to uplift the situation when we can. When we see somebody needing help, being able to be present to uplift the situation. My teacher calls the power of seva the highest power of a human being. The power to uplift. And the fourth thing is the power of prayer. Now, how many times have we prayed and we don't get what we want? I've loved prayer since I was a child, so I've really gone into this deep in my life. And this power of prayer is about the ability that you have. This is your power to penetrate through even when it's impossible, even when it feels like everything's not with you. When it feels like the circumstances are very, very tough, that you don't lose sight of your bhana, of showing up, that you don't lose sight of your words and your listening, that you don't lose sight on your ability to access to uplift people, and you don't lose that prayer no matter how impossible it seems. Because that prayer is really shining yourself from the inside, creating this great light from the inside that shifts your molecules around, uplifts yourself, and that is your radiant body. All of these together give you what we call the radiant body, or charisma, or in yoga what we call power. And let's go over those again. Let me just repeat them. Bhana, how you show up, your purity. The power of your word. There's a lot of sound. Somebody may need to mute themselves. Gita, I need you. Okay. The power of your bhana, how you show up. That's very gold, like the purity of gold. The power of your words, which is your piety, your ability to listen and be present, to be thoughtful in your communications, to communicate for a better tomorrow, not to ruin today. to know that you walk through your communications every time, again, within 7 years, that the power of the your word can make or mar a situation. The third thing is your power to uplift, the power of love, the power of seva, that when you feel the call to uplift a situation, that you show up with the others, with the words, with the listening, with the presence to uplift. And then the power of your prayer, the continual remembrance, we call it Simran, the continual remembrance that no matter how the situation is working, that the universe has many things. We're one part of a huge creation, and that the universe will not get upset if you hold on to that prayer. The universe will not erase that prayer. It will adjust your molecules, even if it's just yours. And that will affect the radiance, and that will start to turn the wheel of karma and dharma. So one more thing before I ask you a question. Power to the yogi or to Guru Nanak. Here's a beautiful picture of Guru Nanak over here. One of Yogi Bhajan's great teachers and inspirations, mine too. He talked about something called the infinite game, or dharma. And what we mean by this is that how do we play our life win-win, where it's not conquer and be conquered, win, lose, I win, you lose, you win, then I lose. How can we find this way to operate where everybody wins? That's an exploration for all of us. That's a very high spiritual maturity called dharma. It frees you from the karma. Arjuna and the Bhagavad Gita is all about that. The Taoist teachings on leadership and the power of leadership is all about this, not pushing people down, being with people, bringing yourself, as Yogi Bhajan would say, dip low on your mat as a yoga teacher. Be a diplomat. That means dipping low on the mat, to be with people. And this idea of dharma is really one of our great, one of the things we seek to do is to be in community together where we're uplifting each other, where we're looking at what the win-win communication is. And so that is a really ultimate state of power for the yogi, is living in this state of dharma, this state of seeing win-win. Being able to, for instance, a teacher who's very tough like mine, he would have this booming voice to break through the ego and break through what's going on, because he knew that we were caught. And when are you caught? How come you're always late? Why aren't you showing up? Why are you trying to trick people with how you dress to get them to like you? Why are you hiding? What are you doing with this crazy behavior where you can't get on top of the energy? We ask ourselves these questions. And as we continue our practice, we start healing. But keep these things. You want the power? Keep these things in mind. I have somebody here helping me. Zita, can we show the video somehow? Okay. Well, I'm just going to show you that my guest teacher couldn't be here today, but he sent me a video on what is power to him. And he's an incredible person, and he's my trainer at the gym. And he's been, I held plank pose for 3.5 minutes, and I'm doing all kinds of amazing things that help me feel good and stay strong. So one healer said in my 60s, what do? I feel the 60s. My acupuncturist said, fight it. So I went to the gym. I got this incredible trainer, and I was talking to him about power this morning, because he is empowering people in their bodies. And he had something to share. So I'd like to share it with you. Do you think I can? Where do I put it?
Just in front. What is power? I believe power.
Hold on. I have to get it big. Okay. You want to help me with this? She's going to put it up so you can see it. But will they hear it?
Yeah. What is power? I believe power is the ability to transfer and receive energy. Power is the ability to make and have complete control over your destiny. Words of the great Harry Kaur. Power is allowing the universe to have its way because it simply doesn't care. But by staying dedicated to your expectations and flexible in your approach, you can demonstrate and admit your power to break through any obstacles. Power to me is having complete control over your being, emotionally, physically, and mentally, regardless of the limiting factors surrounding you. Power is the ultimate virtue. That is what power is to me.
So it was amazing to really have that conversation with another person. I want to encourage you to have that conversation with yourselves. I want you to, for homework, write down, where do you feel you can express power in your life? Where do you feel a lack of power in your life? I'll be sending you the notes with those things so that you can use them to coach yourself. And I'd like to take some questions or comments. Can you help me? Could you unmute yourselves? Oh, I think Olivia, are you raising your hand?
I was adjusting my computer.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Anybody want to share something?
Yeah, something what Jasleen. I think Jasleen, if you could try again to.
Jasleen? Can I see the people, please? Oh. Raise your hand if you'd like to talk. Anybody there? Come on. This is where the good stuff happens, when we share things.
Hi, Hari.
Hi, who's this?
It's Jody. Hi.
Hi, Jody. We finally meet. You had to chase me into a webinar. Yay.
Oh, my goodness. I am loving the conversation about soft power. I actually just rewrote my my tagline for my practice and my business as a yoga instructor to include that, incorporating all the tools of yoga for easeful power and inner joy. And it's that every day I come back so humbly to my practice about that true power makes you want to cry. True power is so soft, and yet it's so connected and so powerful, and it cannot be removed. It's something to click into.
Right. That's what my trainer, his name is Jason, was saying also. It was saying that despite what's happening outside, there's you can hold your authenticity. That's the power. You can hold your authenticity in that. And in Kundalini Yoga, because we're a householders yoga, we go one step further. Not only can you hold your integrity, you can have a power in your word, you can uplift others, right? And you can listen, you can hear. So that you can add in there, that it doesn't only apply to the person individually, that once this is felt, if they have these little guidelines to kind of initiate their power to uplift. And that is where that seva, that love of life is, that just brings the radiance to every human being when we can help each other out. And that's the Aquarian shift. This is what we're looking for, this feminine shift of energy that allows us to not have this conquer and be conquered. It allows us to help each other, to come out of our shells a little bit, right? Yeah. And to help each other when people need help. And to know when to ask for it and to know when to give it, right? And we'll be just together, going back and forth. That's the soft power. Thank you, Jody.
You're welcome. And just listening to you right there when you were saying soft power, it just had this flash of namaste, like for us to really be able to connect with ourselves and with others on that level, it's so important that we have that access to it. So thank you so much, Ari.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Good to see you. Anybody else? It's a little hard. You're in little squares here. I'd love to hear from you. Wow, Olivia.
Sorry, this is Jess. Can you hear me?
Who is it?
This is Jess.
Yes. Oh, hi. Satnam.
Hi, Satnam. I took your class in Millis.
Oh, yes. It's nice to see you.
Likewise. Thank you. Thank you for the class. I have a couple of questions. One, when we say power, what is power? If I understand, it's not ego, it's not mental. So what is truly power? And my second question is, when you're really depressed, when you have anxiety, where do you find that power? From which part of you do you find that power?
What is power? It's a little bit like what is love. You know, I read this book by, please forgive me for getting people's exact names, but he was from Kennedy School of Government, and they were saying power is an elusive term. You can't really grasp what it is. They look at it in two ways. That one, where you can exert a force to make something happen, right? That's kind of the hard power, where you have power to make something happen or make someone agree or disagree or do something. And the soft power is where they become enrolled because of an agreement, because of a cultural attraction to it. But it's the idea to affect your world in a way that brings happiness to you. Now, when you look at this, now you can see why power can be so dangerous, right? Because if your happiness isn't win-win, if it's dharmic, then you're going just by principles, and you'll have all ice cream shops will only have chocolate, right? Because that's what you like. But we want to understand that power, that's how power turns into manipulation and very personal. But power in the win-win, because the pure force of affecting change in your environment and in yourself. It's a pure force of affecting that change. So the power of leadership is to be able to, or yogis, is to be able to shine so bright in the radiant body and have worked on yourself and had some spiritual maturity that people can feel that and they'd like to learn it. So does that help on the first question?
Yes, it absolutely does. Thank you.
The second one is, when things are really rough, where do you find it? When things are really rough, I go to other wise people. I go to doctors. I go to my trainer. I go to people who are wise and ask them to help uplift me. I ask them to listen to me. And we enter into a relationship where I'm ready to listen to them. And I think this listening is very important in community, because in order for us to uplift each other, we have to be able to hear each other. So when times are very, very tough, in this, especially in this Aquarian age, I think it's very valuable. Have your community ready. Have the people, your spiritual sisters and brothers, right? Spiritual aunts and uncles. Wise teachers, wise places. For me, the Siddhi Guru Granth, I go to the Guru, the teachings of Guru Nanak. I go to those, and that's where I get Bana, Bani, Seva, and Simran. Bana, showing up. Bani, the power of my word and listening. Seva, the absolute power of love. And Simran, to have that power of prayer be consistent, even when it feels like it's not making a difference. That's holding that radiant space for me. So meditation, being with people. You're in New York, you're hearing outside sounds, and I always say prayer because somebody, it might be, I always just think that, you know, somebody's probably in that ambulance, and I've been in an ambulance, and the people in there were just incredible and wonderful people, and they really helped keep me alive, so I'm very grateful for them too. So that's what I do when it gets really, really tough, is please, please, don't be shy, everybody. Ask for support and help.
That's great. Thank you so much.
You're
That
welcome.
helps.
ask for support and help. What time is it now? 1:30. Oh, anything else? I have time for another question. I'd love to talk a little bit. Somebody's raising their hands. Hi. Olivia, unmute yourself. Okay, here.
I just want to say I'm so grateful and thrilled to be that you're doing this. And as you know, I attended a funeral this week, and when one does that and kind of hears someone else's life in review, and the many of the principles you talked about were what everyone touched on of the beautiful parts of my uncle's life. And when hearing that, you can't help but review your own life and often see where you find it lacking. And I'm finding everything you're saying so relevant and so powerful. I just wanted to say that, and thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
And, you know, when we want to help ourselves, when some dear person passes away, there's a chant that we do, and it's a beautiful chant. And I'll share it with you, Olivia. You can visualize a beautiful blue light going from your brow point to infinity. And we chant the word Akal 3 times. I'll do it very quickly for you. And what was your uncle's name?
I think she's saying Fred.
Okay. Great.
Yes.
Thank you. So you can, and we, to support her, you visualize, just close your eyes, mute yourself on your computer. Blue light going from your brow point. See Fred and anyone you would also maybe in your life who's recently left. And you can visualize them going to infinity in there and being absorbed into the light of love. And Akal means deathless, and love does not die. She's still learning. He is still teaching her as she reviews her life. And even as she says that we all review ours, we're so sensitive and connected. So we take a deep breath and we'll chant Akal 3 times. Akal. 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 Inhale, suspend your breath. Please see Fred and anyone else that you would like to bless, walking on that blue light to infinite love, being absorbed, immersed in infinite love. Exhale and surround their families and all those with the white light of healing, that love is timeless. It just needs that transformation now from the physical body into the subtle body and into the depth of our memory. And sat now. How about another question or comment? Please raise your hand. You have one here?
Thank you.
Welcome. You're welcome. Can we see everyone? I like to see everyone, so she's arranging it so I can see everyone. Hi. Anybody want to share something about power, about seva, about prayer, about physical, about the feeling? How about this? What does it feel like when you experience power? What does that feel like? I'll talk about one of the moon centers for women. What power feels like for a woman, the woman's power. Does somebody want to
No, she's just saying, Jesse's saying, takes a time.
There's a moon center called the cheeks. And this is the depth of experience of extreme power through the emotions that a woman can feel. It's when you feel this rush of hormones, of emotions, of love, of attraction, of repulsion, and it just flushes you out. It's the picture of the queen looking down from a huge throne and deciding, am I going to marry this man or cut his head off? What am I going to do? It's that feeling that she and that you have the power to affect not only yourself, but the entire environment very, very clearly. This is the moon center of the cheeks. It's when there's so much energy running through your system. It's a physical feeling, and the cheeks flush up red, you know? So has anybody, I'm sure you've had that feeling, and that's one of the ways, it's when we study the moon centers, that we study about the depth of those emotions, and we take a deep dive into our sensations and where and when we feel these emotions. And so how do we elevate that kind of power in our nervous system and in our glandular system? So this could be a win-win situation, not a conquer and be conquered situation. We'll feel it and meditate and practice so that we can take that absolute energy, which is our birthright, that emotion, which is our birthright, and we transform it into this absolute, what they call it, the alert, the yogini sahini, the absolute subtle ability to uplift the situation and penetrate through. So, yeah.
There is a question.
A question.
From Sarah.
From Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
My question is, at the feminine power, I feel I have a lot of masculine. How do I balance?
Balancing feminine and masculine power. Raise your hand if you're kind of thinking about that sometimes. Like it feels like man, but it feels powerful, and that must be male. Well, it's very, yes, a lot of people are raising their hands. So this is a wonderful, I'm very excited now. It's a very wonderful conversation, because we have this idea that it feels like you're very masculine. And what we would do, we had a more time, but I'll unpack it a little bit now, because we do have a little bit of time, right? So we can unpack it now, that this idea of those four things, how you show up, listening and speaking, the ability to uplift, and the ability to hold your prayer. Those kinds of things are both feminine and masculine power. When it comes to power, it doesn't have feminine or masculine. They're mixed together when it's balanced. And for too long, many women have thought or felt that when they felt power, it was dangerous, because oftentimes women have felt power when they were being overpowered. And they've been trained that that kind of overpower, so when they feel it, they feel an overwhelm, and that's the kind of power they feel. So if you're feeling that power, the question to ask yourself is, where's it coming from? Let's heal. Let's go back to the fundamental damage that so many women have experienced in life, that cloaks our creativity and takes us away from this like elegant power, that this soft power, elegant power that we have. Shakti power is the only power in many of the philosophies. It's the power to uplift. It's the power of love, both masculine and feminine in nature. It might feel masculine. And if it's the conquer or conquered kind of thing that you're feeling, like you want to hurt, or you want to harm, or you want to lower a status or raise a status, look, that happens. It's absolutely natural. That is what happens in fight or flight. You don't want the dinosaur to win and get you, right? You have to conquer it, right? But that fight or flight becomes habitual even in smaller negotiations and relationships, and it doesn't give us the opportunity to really experience a dharma, a win-win power. So if you're feeling that, don't put yourself down and say, I don't have to feel that power. All our emotions are telling us is where we want to go, where we need to go. So if you feel that often as a masculine power, that conquer or be conquered, let's heal, let's uplift it. Let's talk about the power of the cheeks. Let's talk about the power of the subtle body. Let's talk about the depth of power in the feminine of the ability to imagine. Let's talk about the depth of feminine power in your ability to vision the future. And that will create a balance. And there's all the 11 moon centers are about superpowers that you all have. And whether there's men here or not, that's true too. It's about the superpowers that you all have. And so it really gives you a new way to look at the feelings in your body. It gives you a language around them that you can really, really feel. Is that helpful?
So, how are you saying? You're so beautifully articulate. We women need this language for ourselves. Waheguru.
And the person who asked the question, was that? Yeah, Sarah. Yeah. Well, I love talking about this because it has helped me. The study of love, power, beauty, and sex. I kind of, what do you call it? I'm using that as an outline for the women's studies and the women's studies, so we can claim the creativity of our body. We can claim the creativity and our superpowers as women without feeling that we have to act in any other way than as ourselves. So thank you. Any other questions? I'd love to. Yes, we have some more.
Is there an overview of the 11 moon centers I can read somewhere? And then, is self-confidence required to have a sense of personal, inner, or external power?
Oh, two good ones. The overview of the moon centers, I have a short overview on, there's a short overview in this free peek. We're giving out a free peek to one of the moon centers that's part of the course I'll be doing. And I have an overview of the moon centers. You get that just by, I'll send everyone who's on this call, I'll make sure you get the link to download that. It's got an article about the moon centers, which is an overview. And we do a little deep dive into the belly button. On Facebook it says, find out the power of your belly button or something. It's so cute. I love it. It says, so we'll make sure you all get that. And then the second part was the security and insecurity. This is brilliant. When we study the moon centers, what we learn is a woman has a great depth of ability to feel insecure. And we can't get upset about that. There's a reason we've been gifted that ability to feel so insecure. We've been gifted that ability so that when we're holding the child, when we're protecting the family, we can hear someone 2 towns over that we might not want to be around. We have such a radar and an aura, and those of you who are moms know that. And those of you who are not moms who work with groups of people, every woman really knows this when we talk about it in depth. So you have these superpowers of sensitivity, and they're incredible. And however, it creates insecurity, or what I call also another word for it is hypervigilance. Got hurt once, that's never going to happen to me again. Got hurt another time, that's never going to happen to me again. That's never going to. So as you build up the nervous system and the power of your aura to keep that safe space, your sensitivity is activated to sense when it's not safe. We've been trained to interpret that as insecurity. When we see that as insecurity and it goes through like an old channel, an old channel of insecurity, goes all the way through your past of all the things that have happened to you, it becomes, like my teacher said, like a disease. So the reality is insecurity and security are two sides of the same coin. We have to allow ourselves to feel ourselves, both women and men, and not even be afraid of our insecurity. That insecurity might be telling us something very important about our environment, about something we're ready to heal. So when you feel that insecurity, the other side is security. So let's look at those. Once again, you could look at those 4 things that I've shared today. Activate those in your life, help someone, and see what you might need to heal in yourself, talk to someone. But security, nothing's required to grow except number 1, which was what? Show up. That's it. Vana, show up. Show up on time, ready, ready to tune in, ready to do whatever you need to do, ready to start your meeting with your pen. Show up, be on time. Don't treat the world with disrespect. The whole world. They say this, I want to share this thing about, they say that if you're consistently late, it means you're just a little bit afraid to move forward. So practice not rushing, number 1. Not rushing when you get yourself together. A queen never rushes. Not rushing when you get yourself together. Make sure it's together. Then walk and be on time. And sit down. You will own it. You will own the space. A woman walks in right on time, a little bit ahead, not rushing, showing up like that. It's royalty. Absolute royalty. And it's so simple. How hard is that? Well, I know for a lot of people it's hard, right? But we can blame the trains in New York and everything. But sometimes the game with Yogi Bhajan was not to be late. And it was a great game. I was well trained, and I'm so grateful for that training. Very grateful. It's the honoring your own word. It's really honoring your own word. So don't worry about insecurity. If it's out of control, let's study the moon centers. Let's study it a little bit, and let's reframe and create a new language around this and around our energy. And in the belly button moon center study that you will get, it has Sakriya, it has the meditation that can help that too. Let's meditate a little bit. Do you want to meditate? I'd like to take a few. You want another question? Is somebody asking? No? Oh, somebody's raising their hand. I see a hand up there.
You can just unmute yourself or send the chat. Yeah, Kaur, Candida.
Oh, Hari Satnam.
Satnam.
Thank you so much. You do look like a gift of royalty today. Thank you. Now, if you're purple, just radiant. Thank you so much. On that last note of one thing, and congratulations on your 3-minute plank. I know that. I know how hard that is. I just turned 70 a couple of months ago, and I'm a big believer in strengthening the physical body as well. My temple will feed my soul and my spiritual strength and my power that will illuminate. I know that. As hard as it is, it's just like show up and the rest will happen. Show up, on those days that I'm most resistant or I'm achy or whatever. But my question is, so if one thing you were to recommend, since you were just talking about the navel center, that we could all consider as a quick, we don't have to do the 3-minute plank, strengthening of our navel center exercise, perhaps a breath of fire with a meditation?
Breath of fire will be fantastic. Really good. As a matter of fact, from breath of fire alone, I have a muscle here from breath of fire in the core. The other core, Sakriya, for sure, will strengthen the core. And there's a little Kriya I can include in my notes. It has where you hold a little stretch pose, you relax and rest, hold, relax and rest, hold, relax and rest. And then you do a few fun exercises. So I'll include that one. And do you want something that's more meditation as well? Is that what you were thinking? That's not
no, that's good. Well, you know, I mean, if you want to combine, like you said, the Sakri and a little meditation, but that one, I think it's really helpful to have that in mind, to be able to carry that one quick, you know, physical strengthening of the navel center that'll carry us and help us hold our strength.
And if you don't have time to like get into these little exercises, run up and down the stairs.
Right.
Or walk up and down the stairs and apply Mulband.
Yeah,
Mulband,
right.
and walk
Mulband,
up
right.
and walk up and down those stairs. And then the test is hold your hand in closed lotus posture, right? Take it into your belly button and push it in and see if you can feel the heartbeat there. And usually if you have not exercised a little bit, the circulation to the lower centers is not so much, so you can't feel the heartbeat right in the middle there. So go up and down the stairs, jump up and down, do some frogs, anything. Usually running up and down the stairs, march. And until you can feel that pulse strongly, you have to push it in a few inches. I don't know if they can see my belly, but you push in, really push. And that will tell you that you got that navel center moving and that the artery down there, as well as the dantian, the energy center, is ready to serve you and ready to serve all the organs, which are your libido and your passionate and sexual energy and your wonderful ability to be playful and love food and taste, as well as your elimination, to get rid of things, to drop things. You need to have this energy with you, which is why Sakri is so important.
Thank you.
One more question, then he said.
Stacy Neufeld.
Stacy. Wow.
Hi, I guess I didn't put my hand down, but I'm driving in the car with my husband, and I do have a question. He was asking, what about the moon centers for the men?
Yay. Thank you. Thank you, husband. Satnam. Thank you, husband. Both men and women have moon centers. And the moon centers for the men, it's a matter of extreme, and there's everything in between. For instance, on one end is the extreme of feminine energy, of like estrogen. On the other end is the extreme of masculine. It doesn't matter what body or what physical body you're in, okay? And everybody exists somewhere in between there as well. So everybody's going to feel it a little differently. But the moon centers are both true in men and women. A few of them concern the sexual and reproductive organs, so they're different in men and women's bodies, but they're in the same basic locations. The key here, and here's the magic of this incredible thing. For women, you have 11 moon centers that you spend about 2.5 days in each one. So you take a deep dive into one particular emotional creativity. For men, they go through all the moon centers in 1 to 5 breaths. So it appears that men are steadier because they're going through it very quickly. And it appears that women are more like the moon, spending more, and you can see the changes in feminine energy. It's the nature of fluctuation, where masculine energy is the energy and the nature of stability. So both are needed within us. We need to be able to be stable, to withhold and hold the power of our fluctuations. And men need to be able to fluctuate so that they don't get rigid in their stability. So it really is a dance. And I find that these teachings are so much fun when you're in relationship and you get to play with them. They apply to sexuality and parts of the body that help orgasms and help you enjoy sexual relationships. It is really an incredible conversation. But thank you for asking that. Men definitely have moon centers. They go through them just more quickly. Women appear to change more or be, somebody calls us moody, and that is what, I go through the whole first, the whole history about how fluctuation of energy is not something we're okay with. We're not okay with change, and yet that's the only thing that exists. Human beings are like, what are we, crazy? There's nothing going on up here. Fluctuation is all that's happening, and yet we don't want to change. Nobody should change their mind. Nobody should fluctuate. That's like saying, tell the river not to flow. Love is a flow. Energy is a flow. You have the banks of the river holding the river. You need both the banks, the stability, and you need the flow. Both are constantly dancing together. So we go into that. Stacy, it's so nice that you joined. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope that's pretty cool, right? I think she's driving, so
Very
please.
cool. Thank you.
That's very good.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you, Hari. Thank you.
Who's that?
That's Seth.
Oh, Seth. Oh, great. Hi, Seth.
Hi, Hari.
It's a really good teaching, and it's great fun in relationships to enjoy the moon centers together. So I thought we'd finish up with a meditation, and I will send you my notes and a recording of this, our conversations. Thank you very much for coming and for being available to this new way that I want to be online. It took me a long time to be okay with it. I just didn't want to deliver things. I want to hear from you, because listening and speaking, this is a more feminine format. I'm not just going to dump something on you. The wisdom comes when you ask the question. The experience comes when we talk about it. And so this is why I'm working hard to have this kind of webinar, and also for my courses are on an interactive platform that is interactive. In our calls together, you get to be there with me. We talk, we get to know each other, and also broken into small groups. You get to be with your small group and talk very easily. There's like a texting function, a video call phone. It's really cool. So that's why it took me a while to get online. And thank you for tolerating any of the logistical problems that we have. And I think we're doing pretty well. So I'd like to do a meditation with you. Now, when we do the meditation, if I'm correct, and Zita, let me know, after I'm done explaining it, you can mute yourself so you can sing and chant. This is a devotional meditation that talks about the power words of Kundalini Yoga. So the words are Ad Shakti, Ad Shakti, Ad Shakti, Namo Namo. It means the primal power, like that the very seed of everything. Ad Shakti, Ad Shakti, Ad Shakti, Namo Namo. The second word is Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Namo Namo. And that means all powerful. Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo. That power of love. Kundalini Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti, Namo Namo. May compassion be the power of this universe. You know, that the movement of Kundalini, the movement through the universe, may it serve all and uplift all. So this is done in a really fun thing. You're going to move your hands like this, and your body's going to move, and you'll clap your hands right at your heart center. And this has to do with the number 4, the power of prayer. I'm going to put on the music, and by God's grace, it's going to work, and you'll hear it. And so whether you listen to the music, and you will let go and start like letting your body move and clap right by the heart center to jumpstart this fiery compassion, this idea of Kundalini, to jumpstart this power of love, the power to uplift, the power to hold the prayer. And that's, of course, once we've done our plank pose. So here we go. Okay. Oh, let's tune in. Deep breath. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale. Suspend the breath. If you're on the call and new to Kundalini Yoga, this mantra recognizes all the wisdom around us that we're learning from each other, our teachers. May we open our minds and exhale. You'll get to know the mantra as we go. So we start like this. Here we go. Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Namo Namo, Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Namo Namo, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo, Kundalini Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti, Namo Namo. Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Namo Namo. Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Namo Namo. Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo, Kundalini Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti, Namo Namo. Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Namo Namo, Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti. Really let yourself clap at the heart. Make a noise. Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo, Kundalini Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti, Namo Namo. Adi Shakti, the base, the very seed of primal power. Adi Shakti, Namo Namo. Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, power, all powerful. Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo, Kundalini, the power of love, the power to uplift. Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Namo Namo. Spark the power of prayer. Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Namo. Show up right now. Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo. Kundalini Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti, Namo Namo. Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Namo Namo. Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Namo Namo. Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo. Kundalini Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti, Namo Namo. Let your body move. Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Namo Namo. Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, all powerful. Now this win-win power. It's the power of love. Kundalini, the dance with life, dancing with that power of life. Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Namo Namo. Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Namo Namo. Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo. Kundalini Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti, Namo Namo. Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Namo Namo. Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Namo Namo. Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo. Kundalini Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti, Namo Namo. Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Namo Namo. Sarva Shakti, all powerful, dharmic power. Namo Namo. Pritam Bhagavati, that awakens love. Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo. Kundalini, and brings us to an elevated state, Kundalini, that movement. Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Namo Namo. Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Namo Namo. Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo. Kundalini Mata Shakti, Namo Namo. I almost slammed the mic. Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Namo Namo. Sarva Shakti, don't give up, keep going, keep moving. Sarva Shakti, Namo Namo. Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati. This is a prayer. That's why the body's moving, you're clapping. Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti, Namo Namo. Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Namo Namo. Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti. Keep going. Namo Namo. Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo. Kundalini Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti, Namo Namo. Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Adi Shakti, Namo Namo Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Namo Namo Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo Kundalini Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti, Namo Namo Hare Shakti, Hare Shakti, Hare Shakti, Namo Namo Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Namo Namo Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo Kundalini Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti, Namo Namo Hare Shakti, Hare Shakti, Hare Shakti, Namo Namo. It's Kundalini, Sarva Shakti. Make a sound. Namo Namo. Put the mantra right into your spine. Namo. Hear your own voice. Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti, Namo Namo. Place the chant in your body. Shakti, Hare Shakti, Hare Shakti, Namo Namo. Hear yourself singing. Shakti, Sarva Shakti. Can you start again, please? Namo Namo. Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati. Uh-oh. Keep going. We're not stopping quite yet. Almost. 2 minutes. Okay. Last 2 minutes, okay? It's good if you're a little warm. Excellent. Let that heat from the movement fuel your meditation. Hare Shakti, Hare Shakti, Namo Namo, Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Namo Namo, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo, Kundalini Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti, Namo Namo. 2 more times. Hare Shakti, Hare Shakti, Hare Shakti, Namo Namo. Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Namo Namo. Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo, Kundalini Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti, Namo Namo. 2 more times through. Hare Shakti, Hare Shakti, Hare Shakti, Namo Namo. Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Namo Namo. Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo. Kundalini Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti, Namo Namo. Last time, give it everything. Hare Shakti, Hare Shakti, Hare Shakti, Namo Namo. Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Sarva Shakti, Namo Namo. Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Pritam Bhagavati, Namo Namo. Kundalini Mata Shakti, Mata Shakti, Namo Namo. Inhale, stretch up. Stretch way up. Oh, those hands should be vibrating. Stretch yourself way up. And shake out. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, shake out. Move the body around. Stretch out one more time, please. Stretch yourselves. Stretch yourselves. Listen back for this mantra, every part of it. Shake out. And please rest your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. Feel the impression of the mantra help yourself show up. Learn to listen to yourself and each other. Fulfill the longing to uplift a person. Power of love. And no matter how indifferent the universe is at the moment, keep the prayer flowing for a win-win situation, the infinite game of life where we all win. May we honor all the different ways we express ourselves in this world, all the different ways that Kundalini shows up. Express, there's never been a person like you, there will never be. How incredibly creative and fluctuating and changing this world is. Let's build ourselves together. Let's learn together. Let's study together in a new way. You know, the Moon Center's wisdom was given to us, and my teacher said, live it, figure it out. So that's what we do together, is we work it out. And every time we have the discussion, something interesting, some new wisdom comes. Please bring your palms together. This is the time to do this. May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on. Satnam, Satnam, Satnam. Inhale, please. Suspend this breath. Remember the mantra and that you showed up today. Recognize your prayers today. May the power of love and kindness guide us, Satnam. It's such a pleasure being with you. This is the second one. I have some more coming next Sunday and the Sunday after, and I think the Sunday after. So I'll let you know if you're on the mailing list. And if you're interested, we are doing the Moon Center's course again in September. In September on the 10th. So let me know if you have any questions, if I can help you understand them even further. I'm sending you all my best and much love. Sat Nam.